You're watching Detroit on Deck. Here are your hosts, Dave Saseski and Josh Clark.
All right, man, we're back for another podcast. It's been a little bit since we've been on here. Lots happened. We went to the draft in Green Bay, had some it's a good time. Saw a kid eat a hot dog off the pavement. I don't know. That's the word. I tell everybody that story, Josh.
That's probably the weirdest thing I've seen.
Okay, I'm going to say it anyway. So I buy this $15 hot dog. I wish it wasn't true. It was $15. Waited an hour in line. Josh is in this crowd of people. I mean, we're literally like, hold your hat up. So, like, and we'll try to find each other. I find him, and then my cousin wouldn't meet up with us because she couldn't get through this crowd of people. I just use the old line, oh, my wife's up there. I need to get to my wife, right? And a lot of people looked at me like, oh, we know you're lying. And then Josh goes back and tries to get my cousin. Anyways, we eventually find each other again, and she has this hot dog that I had in her purse. I slap it out of her hand. Yes, I slapped it out of her hand. I littered, and it hit the ground, and this kid picks it up off the ground. Now, this is the same kid near children, pees in a bottle, and the dad was staring at him like he wanted to murder him. So anyways, he picks his hot dog up and shoves it down his throat. Not takes a bite out of it. Yeah, shoved it down his throat. And we're just looking at him like, what's wrong with you? And it really became after that point, it was like, just avoid this kid the whole day. Because he was always biased. Just always biased. So I don't know. Maybe he really needed friends and he was trying to impress them. But nevertheless, that was just disgusting.
It was an interesting experience, to say the least, in Green Bay.
It was an experience. And then now Washington's going to come in and steal the show and put 1 million people in Mall of America, right? So, like...
Well, Mall of America's in Minnesota.
Well, what is it? Washington has got they've got a huge mall.
It's probably going to be downtown, honestly, where the Lincoln Monument's at.
Which they're gonna get.
Yeah, I've been to DC before. You can get 750,000 people down there easily.
Right. Yeah, and so you're going to be near 1 million the first day, but whatever. It's bigger space. I mean, Detroit, they did it right. But Josh, we want to talk about the Pistons. Just get into that conversation. We'll talk some Tigers, of course, as well. But season didn't end the way they would want. I think they put up a good fight against New York. Would have loved to have seen it gone 7, but I think it's the reason why it did not go 7 is they're a team that's young, right? They lacked some things this year, clearly. But in a sense, if you go from 14 wins to what was it, 40 something,
44.
How a coach doesn't win Coach of the Year is absolutely beyond me. Kenny Atkinson goes from 50 to 60 wins. I understand 60 wins is hard to do. And they hadn't done it since LeBron. However, I believe going from 50 to 60 wins is a lot easier than going from 14 to 44. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. Just because, like, winning 50 games, you got talent on your team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, so going from 50 to 60 is not much of a gap in my opinion, because you knew that talent was there. Or opposed to like the Pistons, like we knew we had Cade, we knew we had Jaden Ivey.
Yep.
We knew we had Durant. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But we didn't the over-under for a reason was set at 25.5 in Vegas this year. Like, nobody believed in the Pistons. Nobody, not the experts included.
Right.
So for them to go from 14 to 44, and for them to be gypped of a couple awards, in my opinion, Bickerstaff Coach of the Year and Cade Most Improved Player.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bullcrap, and I think it's actually a travesty.
I agree. And you know what? Most of the time I agree with the NBA and how they do things versus a lot of other leagues. I really do believe it. Now, there's some problems, obviously. ISO ball's an issue. But I like some of the things Adam Silver does. I don't agree with this. And I think here's the problem. I think the league views JB as a complainer. They do, and he speaks up, and he's kind of taken on the whole persona of Detroit, right? Like Detroit versus everybody, right? Yep. And I love it because I love that we have a coach with passion. I mean, we went through how many coaches after Larry Brown It was
Yeah,
like, dude, this guy is John Custer and all these guys. Like, I don't
right.
even Michael Curry. Like, there was a lot of
Yeah,
bad coaches for many years. So to have a guy like that, listen, I don't mind a tech every now and then. Now, I will say he did hurt them a few times in that Knicks series.
hmm
Um, but Josh, I mean, there's a lot of good things that's to come for them next year. Now, they're going to need to fill some gaps because you're either losing Hardaway or Schroeder, or somebody off your bench. Now, Fontecchio, you can walk. I
All
don't
right.
need you.
Well,
But
I did see a report where it says that the Pistons' primary focus this offseason is to bring back both Beasley and Schroeder. So
I would love that. But here's the thing: you're going to lose Hardaway. You're not going to bring him back on. I think his option was like 20 something million or whatever,
right,
right?
but
Like
I mean your hope for losing Hardaway is that Ron Holland can take that next step in year two.
my only concern, and I think Ron Holland is a stud. He's going to
Yeah,
be a stud. Is I want to see if he can develop an outside shot because he did not have a jumper. It was him getting to the rim, and Hardaway, you're losing some shooters, right? Okay. Beasley, if I'm going to pay him, and I think they're going to pay him, he's got to be a lot better than what he was in that New York series. Because, yes, he had a couple halves, but outside of that, he really disappeared. I mean, I gave Jalen Duren a hard time, but I think for what he is, he had a great year. He really did. I'd like to see him establish a little bit more moves in the post. I do. I mean, he can rise up with the best of them, right? And he
oh
plays
yeah,
good defense. Um, but if you're going to have a guy like that can't stretch the floor, everybody else on that floor better be able to shoot from three.
all
And
right.
I just don't know. I don't know who's going to start. I mean, Osir's got to. And I love what he did defensively. Although he got shook a little bit at the end versus and it happens, right? I like that guys are actually, and you can agree with me, guys are actually playing defense. We
Yeah,
we hadn't had that
yeah.
in a long time.
No, yeah, some of these playoff games are really nice. We talked about it a little bit. Like, I love the physicality of that Knicks and Pistons series, even
Love
though it
it.
didn't go the Pistons' way. Like, I love the physicality. They were allowing them to play a little bit. Like,
Hmm.
that's what NBA is missing. Like, at the Morks, a 95-93 type of ball game with that type of physicality is way more interesting and way more impressive than 130 to 127.
I couldn't agree more.
In my opinion, bring back physicality. Let them play a little bit of defense. Let them hand check a little bit, and I promise you, the game will be a lot better.
Agreed. Agreed. So listen, man. What would be on your wish list? You got 3 wishes for Detroit. Your
When
number three, you got your number one, number two, number three wish for this team. What do you think puts them over the hump? Because for me, and we had talked a little bit before the pod, you have got to get a star in there. I mean, Cade was good, but there were times that he disappeared. Now,
yeah.
he's young, but is Cade Batman or Robin? I don't know, but I would love if he was Robin. That'd be incredible. Now,
So personally for me, and this is probably not going to be a popular take, but I would like to see them run it back kind of with a similar team, maybe
mhm.
add a piece or two, because
How big
we
of a
don't,
piece?
because I mean we need a stretch four. Like I like
Agreed.
Tobias, but he's a three. He's a three all day. Like we need
Agreed.
a stretch four. Like if that was that's probably my biggest wish for the Pistons this offseason is a stretch four. But we don't know what this Pistons team looks like outside of what 10, 12 games with Ivy out there. Like
Correct. Correct.
Ivy was averaging 17.4 points a game before he went down. So
Correct.
I would like to see what this team looks like with him incorporated for a full season before we just go ahead and blow it up. Be like, okay, let's trade Ivy, let's trade Holland, let's trade Tobias for a star,
Hmm.
and a couple picks. That's probably what it would be, that type of package. So I would like to see them run it back with the full complement of the team before we did kind of blow up. Now, if it goes south before the trade deadline, okay, cool. I understand trading, Ivy, Holland, Asar, possibly Tobias, some picks, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a combination of probably those things.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I mean this team has a bright future for sure. But like you said, K does need a little bit extra help.
Hmm.
Beasley was not expected to be their second best scorer this year. It was supposed to be Ivy. So
Correct.
him going down really kind of hampered the whole team in a sense because it forced somebody into the starting lineup. It forced, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But this team's got potential. I think they'll be fighting for a division title. Probably within the next couple of years. I still think the Pacers are the class act in that division.
Right. Right.
And the Cavs, obviously, but we ain't gonna talk about them buttons.
I was just saying, man, how you blew that game if you're the Cavs yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was embarrassing. And I know obviously you're a Pacer fan, so
right. And the big thing for the Pistons too, and we didn't see a lot of it last year during their struggle season. LCA was rocking all year.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit basketball is one of the most special arenas, whether it's the Palace, whether it's LCA now.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
In all of the NBA, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when they get a full house there and they actually put a team on the court, the city's going to show up for you.
Agreed.
So
that's why I think Detroit is one of the top 5 sports cities in all America. I mean, listen, you got Philly, you got Chicago, you got Miami, you got LA, and then you got New York, and you can throw Detroit in there. So top 5, top 6, right? Like even Miami, I don't even know if I'd say Miami because
in terms of what, just basketball?
Sports towns, right? Like
sports town, I would put the Red Sox or the Boston.
Boston. Okay, I'll put Boston in there, but Philly belongs in there too, right?
No, for sure.
And then New York and Detroit is in the conversation, right? Like
for sure.
They're passionate for their teams, man. I mean, they just need winners and Detroit basketball, it's been a long time since, I mean, it feels like yesterday for us that it was a going work Pistons. So the back to work Pistons, we're going to call this team. If they do this right, Josh, I think they can contend for a ton of Eastern Conference championships, and if not win a championship. But you're not going to win a championship in the NBA, in my opinion, without some type of superstar. And if Cade can be that, fantastic, right? I think the closest to a team that it was like, how did they do that? Well, they still had the best player in the world was when the Nuggets won a championship because it was the Nuggets with Jokic and then some other guys that were good players, right?
Jamal Murray.
And he had some injuries, right? And then and you've got some other guys sprinkled in there, obviously, that can play, in Gordon and stuff, but if you can have a guy that can dominate, right? We talk about ISO basketball, but like sometimes it comes down to like, I wanted Cade to do that sometimes in that New York series where it was like, all right, you need a bucket. I want you to just take that clock down and take it yourself because there's times he can be absolutely unstoppable.
Right.
And then he disappears.
Well, I'll tell you right now, and this is going to be probably an unpopular opinion among Pistons fans, but I do not believe Cade Cunningham is a current superstar.
No, I think he's a star, not a superstar.
And there's the one play in that New York series that kind of sold it for me, and it was the very last play of the game that sent them home. You don't pass that ball in that situation. That's your shot to take. That's your shot to take.
That's your team. That's we go out with you shooting, right? Like I agree. I'm with you. And you know what? When we were down, he would disappear. He really did. I mean, it was, and you know what? They clearly they showed that they weren't ready for the moment. I mean, there was times where it was like, even Bickerstaff. To be honest with you, there were some moments where you're like, I don't really agree with that. But like, also with Sir Thompson, he had a great run there, but you started to see where it was like, man, they're not even guarding him because. Unless he's underneath the basket, he can't do much.
Right. I mean, but he was open a lot, getting those back screens.
I agree. But if he had some jumper, it changes a lot for them. But
no, for sure.
But I don't know. We'll see. Now, you saw a report. Why don't you talk about that? Because I think that is an interesting thing, and that could change the whole outlook of his team.
Yeah, the whole outlook of well, obviously we know Phoenix Suns are blowing it up. I'd seen a report, and I don't remember who it was from. I tried finding
Shams or something.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was from, but I think it was a Yahoo report, honestly, Yahoo Sports report that states that the Pistons have positioned themselves pretty well I don't know what pretty well means, to go after Kevin Durant and Devin Booker this offseason. What are your thoughts on
that? Here's the thing. I've wanted Devin Booker since day one. I love Devin Booker, and any guy that comes to Detroit and wears Detroit hats, like I love it, man. He reps Detroit. Now he could have been a Michigan
Grand
State
Rapids.
Spartan,
Yeah, he's
but
Grand
he
Rapids
chose to
native.
go to Kentucky because probably Cal paid him, right?
Right.
That was before they could get
Right,
NIL.
let's be real.
Cal paid him. But anyways, he would have went to Michigan State. But I'd love to have him there. And Kevin Durant, I mean, here's my only concern. I don't know that Kevin Durant can still be the Kevin Durant that he thinks he can be. If he could be a guy that plays, I don't know, 30 minutes a night, maybe somewhere around there, then I'm comfortable. But that would be Devin Booker's team, in my opinion, at that point. Still,
I mean,
in terms of where age and where they are in their career, do you think KD can still put up 30, 40 points a game? Because I don't know if he can with injuries.
I mean, he'll give you 25, 30.
And I'm okay with that, right?
If you allow him to, but we don't need him to do that. We just need him to come in and play,
Correct.
A little bit of defense, play a little bit of defense, which we know he can. We've seen him do it before.
Like LeBron, right? Like right.
LeBron
does, where LeBron, hey, look, you need LeBron to put up 25 to 30 points, he'll do it. But most nights, he's going to give you low 20 points and whatnot, there's just there's some things that he's not going to be able to do. I got my dog barking in the background here. Good old Augie, man. Good old Augie. But yeah, let's change the topic here now and let's talk about some Tigers, because Josh, they're one of the top 3-4 teams in all of baseball right now. Now Cubbies are in that conversation too. We were there a few times.
They've fallen off a little bit.
They don't have any relief pitching, which Detroit does have.
Which kills them, right?
But the thing that is wild about this Tiger team, and I want to ask you what you're most surprised about, because for me, I'm surprised at this point it hasn't all fallen apart, because you had the one guy I would have said at the beginning of the year, outside of Skubal, you cannot have hurt. And that's your center fielder, Parker Meadows, because he does everything, right? And he was a guy that was he was kind of like their Pete Crow Armstrong, right? He was their energy guy. His bat was starting to turn into something, because Pete Crow, before this year, we were like, I don't know if he can hit, but I know he can get the glove. And now he's an MVP candidate. So am I going to say Parker Meadows would have been an MVP candidate? Maybe not so much, but I think he would have been a darn good center fielder and put up some numbers. Now, he gets hurt. They put Ryan Kreidler out there. He was garbage. And then they put Javi Baez, who's been incredible. Zach McKinstry, been incredible. Josh, out of all of those things that I mentioned, what's the most surprising thing to you?
I mean, of those things that you mentioned, it's Javi Baez.
I thought he was dead.
It's Javi. I wouldn't say that I thought he was dead.
I did not think he had any. He was the worst player statistically in baseball last year.
Well, no, I did some digging on Javi as well. And over the last 2 years, he's been dealing with some hip issues and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I guess he had surgery on that hip this offseason, he said in an interview that he did. So, I mean, that's definitely a huge plus and huge component of this turnaround that we're seeing. He's currently hitting like 309. Which is
not
crazy.
A ton of pop, but he hit 3 homers in a row.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, I'll take what I can get out of Javi, especially if he's hitting 309, 94 plate appearances. So it's not a small sample size. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a pretty large sample size. 94 bats is nothing to sneeze about. So I think Javi Baez, like, resurrecting his career so far this year with what he's done, what he's able to do in the outfield position, just shows me that he's a natural athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's been really good out there.
No,
really good.
He's been above average in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion,
he robbed a homer the other day.
I don't know the numbers or nothing, but I think he's been above average, honestly. But yeah, I mean, if Javi's not playing the way that he is, I mean, I don't think this team is where they're at, honestly.
100%. I agree.
Now, what about you? What's your take on that?
I mean, I think Javi Baez, and for a while it was the resurgence of Torkelson, but I mean, he's hitting 234 and he's starting to scare me a bit, right? Because he's got 10 home runs, 27 RBIs, but I honestly, Josh, one of the guys that I didn't think should have even been on the team is Zach McKinstry. He's hitting 295, 1 homer, 15 RBIs, but what he adds to the team is versatility in a time where they had so many injuries. That shocked me. Now, good news is coming. Matt Vierling hit a home run in his rehab assignment the other day in Toledo. That's good. That is a bat that is going to help significantly. 17 homers last year. I think he had like 65, 70 RBIs, but that's going to really, really help them because this offense has been absolutely incredible. They're fourth in the American League in home runs right now.
Yep.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. No, I agree with you. And I'll go one step further, too. I think for this team to continue the way that they are, and I'm going to throw some numbers out there for you. This starting rotation.
100%.
This starting
and I know where you're
rotation-
going with this.
This starting rotation has been above expectations outside of Scooble.
I think you could say best in baseball in the conversation.
So let me throw something out there for you. They're starting 5 in the rotation of Scooble, Flaherty, Olsen,
Mize.
Job, and Mize. They have a combined 2.94 ERA.
That's dirty. That's
Each-
dirty.
Each one of those 5 are in the top 35 in all of baseball in ERA.
See, that's incredible. I mean, Josh, before the year, they didn't even know if Casey was going to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
That was conversation. Alex Cobb was supposed to be in it.
And speaking of Mize, I'm going to take it one step further. If he's not top 5 right now for AL Cy Young, then I don't know what they're looking at.
5-1,
This-
2.7 ERA.
This is a guy who's 5-1 in 6 starts, only 6 starts. So he's got a decision in every single start.
Right.
5-1, 270 ERA. He's got like 39 or 40 strikeouts in 38 innings. Like if he's not being talked about early on for Cy Young right now, like I don't know what they're looking at or what they want out of a Cy Young winner.
Agreed. I think, and here's the thing. We, with all the injuries, we almost like needed the perfect storm to happen, and it has.
Yeah.
And really, let's give some flowers to AJ Hinch.
Yep.
Because AJ Hinch has proven that if he's not the best, he's top 2, in my opinion, managers in all of baseball. I absolutely love what he's done with less. And when I say with that is you throw other managers here, and they're not going to be in the spot. Now, is the Central a little bit weak? It's a little weak. I'll give you that, right? But the Royals are starting to come on a bit, right?
I mean, I wouldn't call it weak right now. I mean, the White Sox suck, sure, but I mean, you look at
Yeah.
the top 3 teams: the Tigers, the Guardians, and the Royals. They're all in the top 4, top 5 in record right now. In the
Minnesota
AL.
and Chicago, not so much, right? They don't help the conversation. The
Yeah,
other
but
teams,
those-
I'll give you
those
that.
those other 3 teams are top 5 right now, record-wise in the AL.
So yeah, I mean, and that's always been the conversation, right? Like it was like the Lions in the North, right? It was like, oh,
Right.
is it really that good? We know it's good because there was 3 teams that made it. And what happened in baseball last year? 3 teams from the Central made it. Okay, so maybe you're not afraid of the Royals. Maybe you're not afraid of the Guardians, but I don't care. I'm talking about the best teams in the league, right? So, yeah, to your point. But I think the way that they've built this team plays perfectly to Comerica Park, right?
Yeah.
It's a pitcher's ballpark, right? Speed helps. They've gotten some pop, right, from some of them other hitters we needed to. I am a little concerned. Like I said, I'm a little concerned with Torkelson's average starting to dip a bit.
Yeah.
But I think you clearly send down Jace Young. He's not ready. Once Veerling is ready. But here's my question to you. When Parker Meadows is ready, who are you sending down? Because you can't send McKinstry down with the way he's playing. You know, AJ likes carrying a deep bullpen, so you're like, okay, maybe that you do send. I don't know if Brisky has any options left, but he's really struggled. But in terms of offense, you also got Margot coming back. Maybe Margot doesn't even come back.
No, Margot is back right now. He was optioned to Toledo.
So there you go. So he was optioned. Who Margot was?
Yep, to Toledo today.
So I guess that's your answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think they'd release him because I don't think he'd stay there long.
Yeah, eventually, I agree.
And I'm okay with that, right? Because I thought maybe in the beginning of the year he would play some center field. We'd put him out there because that's something he has done before. Javi Baez has got it locked down. Right. I mean, I don't have Javi's numbers in front of me, but he's got to be near 300, right?
He was hitting 309 last I seen.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
For a dude that really they said, hey, he might make the team, he might not. And I know this is, in terms of Chicago Cubs fans, he's a Hall of Famer for them, right?
Well, but here's another guy we're not even talking about or thinking of right now who's injured right now, and that's Andy Ibanez.
That's another guy, right? Like who, you know, versus was it left-handed pitching. I mean, he's absolutely destroyed him. And then here's another thing. Gleyber Torres has hit the cover off the ball too.
Yeah.
He's had a good year. So, and Colt Keith kind of heated up a little bit, right?
Wenzel Perez isn't back yet either.
So that's a good problem to have. But the thing
looking over their roster right now, though, like Justin Henry Malloy would probably be the odd man out.
I think it should. There's a hole in his bat.
Yeah, in my opinion. And then after that, I mean, it's tough. Like outfield wise, you got Carpenter and Green, and McKinstry and Meadows and Perez and Veerling. Infielder wise, Jace Young would be the odd man out.
He's out.
You got Baez, Ibanez, Colt Keith, Sweeney, Torkelson, and Torres.
Yeah, and the thing is Sweeney to me,
This is a guy too who probably will be cut, in my opinion, or waived once Rogers comes back, and that's Thomas Nido.
Yeah, he's been fine, filling in.
He's been fine, but once Rogers come back, it's obviously Rogers and Dingler as a duo.
I got to throw this in here too. So I just traded for Paul Skeens, right?
Yeah.
So I got PCA, who I've wanted so bad. I'm just Cubs fans, and I gave him O'Neal Cruz, and I gave him Hunter Green, and the trade went through, right? So Hunter Green pulled his hamstring tonight, so his.
Don't you love when that works out?
I mean, it never usually does for me, but
right.
I'm good with it. And you know what? I'm not rescinding that trade. We agreed to it, right? So I don't feel bad about it. But I mean, you had said too, and it's basically a wash. Not if you pull your groin. I mean, I'll take Paul Skeens, please.
Right.
I'll take Livy Dunn.
Yeah, right.
And Livy Dunn as well.
That's funny.
Sorry, Katie. No, I'm just kidding. But Josh, we'll just kind of wrap up the conversation here because Papa's about to go eat some Culvers.
Yes, sir.
But it's some good stuff here. Every time I get Culvers, I think of Landon, and I'm like, fish. I'm like, who would do that? Who would do it? Who would do it? Shout out to Landon.
Son.
Hopefully your son will be watching. And I got to shout out Malia too. I mean, come on now. But Josh, if the Tigers are going to win the Central this year, and they're going to probably hit a little bit of a gap where they're going to slump a bit, right? They're not going to finish fourth in home runs, in my opinion. But if they are to win, it will be because of what?
I have a few things to add to this.
Okay, go ahead.
So one, they have to be better on the road.
Yes.
Currently,
you stole my thunder.
currently under 500 on the road,
which is surprising, right?
But they're amazing at home.
That's what I'm saying, right? They built a team.
Kind of evens it out, but 13-3 at home, 9-10 on the road.
Better beat the Rockies. That's all I can say.
Crazy. They better put $25 on it. But run differential plus 63. No one saw that coming either.
Nope.
That's huge. You got to keep that up, whether you're hitting home runs, doubles, singles, triples. You have to keep scoring the baseball because this team is not built for offense. It really is.
Agreed.
Not.
Agreed.
And then you add in the dimensions of Comerica Park. It's not a friendly offensive park at all.
Yep.
As we already talked about.
Yep.
And the third one for me, it's got to be the continuation of this starting rotation. They have to keep pitching phenomenally. And we know Scuba's going to be there. We know Flaherty's going to get right, even though he's got the worst ERA of the 5 right now.
Which is shocking.
And that's at 373.
Yeah, which that's going to get better. It's going to get better. I mean.
Right. So that we know Scuba's going to be there. We know Flaherty will be there. Probably when the weather starts to warm up or whatnot. He'll probably switch it around. And then we just got to have Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and we got to have Jackson Jobe. We just got to have them continue to progress and throw meaningful innings. That way they're more comfortable come September, October baseball. I feel like if we can do those three things, I feel like this Tigers team has potential to win that 90 to 92, 95-ish type of games. I really do feel that.
I agree. I would like them to go get a Zach Neto or something at shortstop, or something to put at shortstop, because I don't think all year you can have Trey Sweeney as your starting shortstop.
Well, that honestly, when Parker Meadows comes back, I put Javi there.
I mean, I guess I'm not afraid of it anymore, right? I for a while there, I didn't know who the dude was, but they're clearly not afraid of him getting hurt. So the surgery must have helped, because able to make plays again, which,
Yeah.
I mean, last year he couldn't. He just didn't have any range. And I thought, okay, maybe he's just on the decline, but maybe it was his hip thing.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I can live with 300 and a little bit of pop.
Well, I was watching MLB Network the other day, and they were breaking down Javi's swing, like comparing it from like 2020 to like 2022 to 24 to this
Mhm.
year, and you could tell between like the end of 23 and like all of last year, like his motion, his knee, his hips, like everything was lowered. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he wasn't getting Javi, like hit that high leg kick. You know what I mean?
Can't be
Back from
swinging
the-
at that damn ball
from
30 feet out of the zone,
no,
too.
no, I understand that, but like that, like when Javi's on though, like he's able to get power behind his
Agreed.
behind his swing, no matter what type of swing.
And
it
he's
is,
got
whether it's
quick hands. He's always had quick hands.
and
Yep.
you know the way that they were breaking it down in this clip was they were like literally showing like from the wrist, from the turnover, like all of this other type of stuff. So like, and I didn't even realize that honestly what he was doing until I seen them breaking it down.
Mm-hmm.
But based on that alone, like I really don't think that we're gonna see much of a drop off when it comes to his hitting. Obviously he's not gonna hit 309 all year, but I mean I expect this guy to come season ends to be right around that 260, 270 mark.
I do too. I think he's figured out some things. So for me, kind of wrapping it up, I just think this starting rotation's been out of their mind. I think that's something that can actually continue. I mean, I think Scooble will get better. The offense is going to regress. They're not an incredible offense like they're showing. We saw it last year in the playoffs. They struggled against the Guardians in certain times. Now, they had heroic at-bats like Carpenter,
Carpenter, yep.
So they got some players. They have some stars. Green has turned the corner again, so some things look good there. I think it'll help when you get. I think the pitching staff will only get better when they get Rogers back. I don't love his bat, but they love throwing to him.
Yeah, he called a heck of a defensive game. Yeah.
He does. And Dylan Dingler's a really good offensive catcher, a lot better than I think a lot of people thought. We didn't even talk about him. So we'll see, but I love what AJ is doing. I think Detroit in general as a sports town has never been in such a spot where our managers and our coaches are this good. I mean, every team's got somebody, right? Like you got JB with the Pistons. The Red Wings, maybe McCullen is the guy. I don't know. That's yet to be seen. However, I feel good about everything else. Right. He was good enough to get another year, right? So we'll see. But Clarky, I'm about to eat some food. I'm out, but we will be back. We'll get another podcast in this week, but it's just good to be back on and talking sports with you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Thanks for listening to Detroit on Deck. Be sure to like and subscribe to our page for more Detroit content.